actual factual number.
And how did you tell the mom that her son was gone?
So it's just competitive energy and things that you say about other artists while you're in hip-hop culture.
One could watch this and think that you really hate because of the things that you post on Instagram.
And I die in the street about this shit, man. This shit dead serious to me. And then when I do rap shit, man, this shit is full of this.
You won't believe this. 50 Cent just dropped clips from T.I.'s documentary. And trust me, it's absolutely brutal.
Yeah, that's Phil. Oh, that's his body. I felt that, you know, all of those rounds were fired for me.
What happens when the internet's most ruthless troll actually goes from teasing to hitting? On March 5th, 2026, 50 Cent dropped and then quickly deleted an Instagram screenshot with one chilling headline. 50 Cent reportedly developing Surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary. That single post sent shockwaves through the rap world. This wasn't a joke. This was a signal. To really grasp why that deleted post shook everyone, you need to rewind back to the exact moment that first shattered this entire feud.
Cent and T.I is back at it. 50 Cent jumped out there. He let him know that he's putting out a documentary, Surviving T.I and Tiny. Man, listen to this. I'm going to play where T.I told 50 that he was getting ready to do the same thing to him. And then now 50 announced that he did it. We already know 50 know how.
It all kicked off with what was meant to be a celebration. T.I and 50 Cent were deep in talks for a Verzuz battle, that legendary stage where rap icons go head-to-head, catalog versus catalog, bar for bar. T.I publicly framed it as a way to honor each other's body of work, a rare moment of mutual respect that fans had been dreaming about for years. Two of the most decorated rappers of their generation, finally in the same room, spotlighting everything they'd built.
Like, you know, it was really about celebrating each other's catalog. Me and that nigga talk about this, bro. This shit, I ain't just called a nigga out the blue. Me and that nigga talk about this.
You talk about you were 50?
Yeah, man, we talk about this shit, man. This shit just come out of nowhere.
But then 50 Cent did what 50 Cent does best. He flipped the script completely. He claimed no deal had ever existed, played oblivious in interviews, acted like the whole Verzuz plan was brand new to him, and then publicly clapped back at T.I with a brutal nickname, King Rat. In hip-hop, that's more than shade. That's a full-on snitch accusation, the worst brand you can slap on someone in the streets. He didn't hold back, telling T.I straight up to keep his name out of his mouth.
You can't even look forward to going home.
It's just gonna be hell.
Where you going after you get out? The neighborhood ain't accepting that. You bitch ass nigga, we heard you's a rat. Look, even for me personally, my character never try to attack my character. They'll say he a rat or he just a snap.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is ask him.
T.I wasn't about to take that lying down. He struck back the only way a rapper of his caliber knows how, through the music, and fast. He unleashed multiple diss tracks in rapid succession, including War and The Right One, and he came fully loaded. On The Right One, he called 50 a small man in a big shell, a line crafted to pierce the ego of a man whose entire empire is built on dominance and bravado.
At this point, 50 Cent should literally rent a wife and kids and have them make diss responses. And the fact that he would actually have to rent a woman and children to like him and to respond on his behalf for T.I and Tiny's whole family.
But the line that truly ignited the internet was T.I calling 50 a 50 dispatcher, a straight-up claim that 50 had cooperated with federal law enforcement, even saying he had paperwork from men locked up with 50 Cent's name on it. That wasn't just a bar, that was a documented accusation, the kind that resonates far beyond any streaming platform. And then the Harris family turned it into a full-scale declaration of war. T.I.'s sons, King Harris and Damani, both dropped their own disses aimed squarely at 50 Cent.
And be honest with y'all, man, T.I.'s a lyricist, man. T.I. was going. He was barring up on this one. He was barring up. You know what I'm saying? He brought up the Jadakiss situation, you know, when 50 and Jada went at it. Fat Joe, of course, Murder Inc. We all know how historic that battle is to hip hop. You know, the whole house situation, you know, with the burned down house, that whole situation, you know, you mad at Puff because he was going at your baby mom. So yeah, he was definitely throwing some shots at 50. And to me, at a point, and like I said, I'm a fan of both T.I. and 50 Cent. It gets to a point with like the memes and stuff like that. Like, all right, we're at its limit, in my personal opinion, man. It's time to borrow.
This was no longer just two rappers throwing shots. This was an entire family mobilizing. For most men in the game, that kind of unified pushback would signal it was time to step back. But 50 Cent had already moved on to something far deadlier than any Instagram post or diss track, and the entire industry was about to see exactly what that was. Before the documentary threat clicks into place, you need to understand what 50 Cent had just pulled off, because it's the reason the music world went completely silent when that screenshot hit. At the end of 2025, 50 served as executive producer on Sean Combs' The Reckoning, a Netflix docuseries that slammed into culture like a sledgehammer. The show debuted at #1 immediately, exposing the sprawling sexual assault allegations against Sean Diddy Combs. It laid bare decades of industry behavior that the entertainment world had whispered about, but never dared broadcast at that scale. It quickly became the most talked about documentary of the year, and make no mistake, 50 Cent's fingerprints were all over it. Netflix later clarified he didn't have full creative control and that none of the participants were paid, but in the court of public opinion, those details didn't matter. What counted was the damage, and the damage, devastating for Diddy's image. 50 had proven something no one in hip-hop had fully grasped before. A documentary can be more lethal than a diss track, more permanent than a lawsuit, and more destructive than any social media storm. It doesn't disappear, it sits, it spreads, it follows you. So when 50 dropped that now-deleted screenshot teasing a T.I. documentary, every person paying attention froze mid-scroll. "Remember how quiet I got before the Diddy doc? Dame thought I wasn't coming," he wrote. No translation was needed. He wasn't threatening to rap about T.I. He was threatening to do to Clifford Harris exactly what he had done to Sean Combs. Package the story, find the platform, and let the cameras do what no diss track ever could. And then there was the title. That made it even sharper, Surviving T.I. and Tiny. Anyone who'd followed the entertainment news cycle over the last several years knew immediately what that was referencing.
They treated us. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing that I wanted to do. It was just something that just had to be done.
Domani, also, you dropped a record. It felt more, did you get any inspiration from, like, when I heard it for the first time, it reminded me of like Meet the Grams.
I would say, man, I just have questions. I just genuinely have questions. And I'm an understanding individual, and I know the reason people do certain things and probably stem from how they grew up, how they was raised.
T.I. was furious, and he made sure nobody missed it. He hit the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast and said exactly what he felt. "We talked about this. We said what we were going to do. When I jumped out there, he acted like he didn't know what was going on." The betrayal hit hard, loud, public, and impossible to ignore. What made it sting even more was the timing. T.I.'s single, Let Him Know, had just climbed to #1 on urban radio and was breaking into the mainstream top 40. He was riding a real, undeniable career comeback, the kind that reminded everyone why he mattered. And 50's dismissal landed square in the middle, casting a long shadow over everything T.I. was trying to rebuild. But the social media clapback? That was just the opening salvo. 50 wasn't finished, not by a mile. There's hip-hop beef, and then there's the kind of war that stops being about music entirely. 50 crossed that line fast. He returned to Instagram, the arena where he's been sharpening his knives for 20 years, and posted an unflattering photo of T.I.'s wife, Tamika Tiny Harris. The caption doubled down on telling T.I. to keep his name out of his mouth. But the real message wasn't in the words, it was in the target. By dragging Tiny into it, 50 made it crystal clear. This was no longer a rap dispute. He was attacking the whole family, in public, with millions of eyes watching every move.
Since 50 posted that he's doing the documentary, maybe you believe him. He just posted it this morning. But anybody in the loop knows that T.I and Tiny have had several allegations of SA.
And exactly the type of documentary it was built to be. Modeled directly after the Sean Combs' The Reckoning formula, the rumored project was reportedly designed to drag the assault allegations against T.I and Tiny back into the spotlight, hitting at the absolute worst moment for the couple's public image. Gossip journalist Tasha K., who has a long and messy history covering celebrity controversies of this exact nature, claimed to have sources close to 50's team, saying the project was already in active development. Those claims remain unverified and officially unconfirmed. But in the world of hip-hop drama and celebrity gossip, the rumor alone was already stirring chaos, and 50 Cent understood that play better than anyone. That's why the deleted post was so calculated. He dropped it at peak hours, let it explode across the internet, let the headlines write themselves, and then yanked it down, leaving just enough smoke to make everyone wonder if the fire was already burning. The deleted caption also included a vicious line aimed at T.I.'s promo run. "I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to ask about your 20 assault cases." That wasn't accidental. T.I. had positioned his upcoming album, Kill the King, as his final statement, a legacy project meant to close out one of the most storied careers in Southern rap history on his own terms. Every interview, magazine feature, and radio spot was supposed to focus on the music. 50 Cent was threatening to hijack every single one of them. And the legal history behind these allegations? Far more complicated than either side wants the public to know. This section demands precision because the facts have been twisted in every direction by anyone with something to gain from the narrative. In March of 2021, attorney Tyrone A. Blackburn held a press conference that shook the entertainment world. He announced that more than 30 women had come forward accusing T.I and Tiny of forced drugging, kidnapping, sexual assault, and intimidation, a pattern allegedly spanning 15 years and crossing multiple state lines. The claims were detailed, deeply disturbing, and dominated entertainment news for weeks.
It's already been known that there are 30 women, at least, that have had allegations of being kidnapped, rugged, raped. Y'all know what those words mean. And 50 Cent is saying he got 20 of them. And this surviving T.I and Tiny coming.
The LAPD opened a formal investigation. Law enforcement reviewed the claims seriously enough to dedicate investigative resources and interview potential witnesses. After a thorough process, however, they declined to file any criminal charges, citing the statute of limitations as the
LAPD launched a formal investigation. Law enforcement treated the claims seriously enough to assign investigative resources and interview potential witnesses. After a thorough review, however, they declined to press any criminal charges, citing the statute of limitations as the main legal hurdle. Too much time had passed between the alleged incidents and the formal complaints for prosecutors to act on most of the claims. That legal reality didn't equal a declaration of innocence. It simply meant the criminal justice system had a very narrow window, and that window had long since closed. On the civil side, the battle went on a bit longer, but in August 2024, a federal judge dismissed one of the most prominent civil suits, with T.I and Tiny's legal team stating the court found the plaintiff had no viable claims. T.I and Tiny have consistently maintained the same position. We are innocent of these fake claims. We will not be shaken down. The legal record, closed criminal cases, and dismissed civil suits provided them documented protection in a court of law. But 50 Cent wasn't filing briefs in a courthouse. He was operating in a media ecosystem where perception moves faster than any ruling ever could, and he had already shown in devastating fashion exactly how to control that ecosystem. Curtis James Jackson III didn't become 50 Cent by accident, and he didn't earn the title of the music industry's most feared media operator by accident either. His rise is one of the most calculated transformations in entertainment history. From battle rapper to multi-platinum artist to social media troll to full-scale documentary producer, each phase deadlier than the last. In the early 2000s, diss tracks could end careers overnight. By the 2010s, it was Instagram posts, memes, captions, and unflattering photos timed perfectly to humiliate targets in front of tens of millions before they even had their morning coffee. By the mid-2020s, 50 had upgraded his arsenal to something the music industry had no real defense against. The Diddy documentary proved it in the starkest terms. It showed 50 Cent could now attach his name to a project that would sit on Netflix indefinitely, be served algorithmically to new audiences for years, and permanently shape the public perception of anyone he chose to target. Netflix's clarification that he lacked full creative control and participants weren't paid did nothing to blunt the impact. What mattered was the result. After the docuseries aired, 50 made it clear that roughly 140 hours of extra footage existed that never made the final cut, openly hinting he could drop it straight to YouTube. No network, no editorial filter, no approval needed. That wasn't idle talk. That was a standing, open threat, fully backed with receipts. And now, the same machinery was being aimed squarely at T.I. The difference between a rapper throwing shots in a song and a media mogul producing a documentary about you isn't just scale, it's permanence. A track fades from rotation. A documentary lives on a platform forever. It becomes the first thing people see when they search your name and follows you into every room you enter for the rest of your career. 50 Cent understood that better than anyone in the game. The question everyone was asking now, where does that leave T.I.? T.I. is standing at a crossroads no artist wants to face, trying to cement a legacy while defending a reputation that someone with enormous resources is actively working to dismantle. Kill the King was supposed to be his farewell, a final bow from one of the most decorated MCs of the 2000s, the man who helped Atlanta build the blueprint before the city gave the world trap music. A #1 single, a full promotional campaign, the kind of victory lap a rapper earns after surviving decades of everything the industry throws at you. Instead, every conversation about that album now exists under a shadow shaped exactly like 50 Cent. And 50 made sure it wasn't just the documentary threat doing the work. He brought it straight into the music too. On the Power Origins theme song tied to his long-running TV empire, he dropped bars directly referencing the sexual assault allegations against T.I. and Tiny, rapping, "Your daddy made your mama eat every box in Atlanta." There's no way to misread that. It's a deliberate, calculated strike designed to make sure the allegations stay in every headline, every comment section, and every conversation about T.I. for as long as possible. The documentary itself remains officially unconfirmed. No network has announced it, no release date exists. But 50 Cent has accomplished something few in his position ever do. He's earned the credibility of his own threat. When he stayed quiet before the Diddy doc, the industry laughed. Nobody's laughing this time. So here's the question worth sitting with long after this video ends. Is 50 Cent a fearless truth teller holding powerful men accountable for things the legal system couldn't touch? Or is he a man nursing a personal grudge, armed with a production budget and a platform, using allegations that courts already dismissed as ammo in a beef that was supposed to be about a rap battle? The line between justice and revenge has never been this blurry, and T.I.'s entire legacy may hang on which side of that line 50 Cent is really standing.